All right, you guys, let's do a review of Secrets Tides. This is an adult-only resort located in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. And this resort is about a 45 to 50-minute drive from the airport. I was really excited to come here and try this resort out because when we went about a year ago, it was basically brand new, just a few months new. So that I learned came with some growing pains, which I'll explain throughout the video, but it was really cool to come to a resort that everything felt fresh and clean and brand new, and it was just so beautiful. So let's get into it. If you've never been to an all-inclusive resort before, you are going to feel the difference the moment you step out of the car because they make you feel like you are royalty. I love it. So they welcomed us with some hand sanitizer, a warm towel to just freshen up after a long day of traveling. You just feel gross, so I love a warm towel and some hand sanitizer when I arrive. And then, of course, a glass of champagne, can't go wrong. They did a quick check-in and a small tour, and then we were off to our room. So here's a little room tour. This was one of my favorite rooms I've ever stayed in at a resort. As you can see, the bathroom is huge, private toilet area, and then plenty of storage here to put your toiletries. And as you guys can see, it had a huge shower as well with the double rainfall shower heads and a window that looked into the room that you could have open or closed depending on your preference. Again, with this resort being newer, you're going to see updated elements in it, like this electronic control panel that controlled all the lights in the bathroom. And then over here you had your contactless room service box, and then this huge double closet. This is probably the biggest closet I've ever seen. Plenty of room to put all your belongings and everything else. I loved the decor of this resort and this room. I think they did a great job. I love how bright and airy it is, how beachy it is. Over here you'll see a pretty typical spread for beverages. You had a few different choices of sodas and then some beer and some water as well with the coffee on top. And then over here you have a table and chairs, a couch, and then of course the best part is the walkout swim up. You have two lounge chairs out here as well, and this beautiful view. You cannot beat this. All the palm trees, it's just gorgeous. And then you got the beach down there to the right. So this will be like a little aerial tour. So from the front of the resort here is the main entrance, and as we head down this way towards the beach, you kind of get a good idea of the size and layout of this resort. And I'm not sure if they differentiate these swim up suites on the website, but you see these first ones we're going by are facing inwards towards the tropical view, I guess they would probably call it, or garden view. And then you see they start to angle towards the beach, and they share with fewer rooms. It looks like they're just side by side. That might be preferred, but I'm not sure. We were actually upgraded to the swim up that was furthest away from the beach, basically. So I'm actually not sure how they booked these, but I just thought it was interesting and something to note. And then the two hot tubs are right underneath us. They're a little bit smaller, but you notice them right down to the left there. And then this is the main pool to the right. It's kind of split into two because of the walkway, and then the preferred pool is on the left there. And then you notice the beautiful beach and how big it is. It's really one of the biggest beaches I've been to at a resort. Underneath us is the volleyball court there. And then the beautiful blue water. It's some of the clearest water, some of the bluest water. There's zero seaweed. This is in March, so I don't know if that changes in the seasons like Mexico does, but this was just beautiful. In this view, you see the swim ups on the outside of the resort as well. In this view, you just see how beautiful the Dominican is with the mountains in the background. Here's an aerial view of the preferred pool. You see the hot tub is right in the middle back there. It has its own bar. It has seating all the way around. And then you also get a look at the swim ups behind it. Here's a look from on the ground of the preferred pool. You can notice the different type of seating they have. They have some like kind of more couch double seating, some regular chairs, some, I don't know what you call them, like cocoon type chairs, and even some swing chairs. So a little bit of everything. And another look at the ocean facing suites here in the front. And then here's a look at the main pool. You notice they have swim ups behind this pool as well. This pool had various different seating, not as many different variations as the preferred pool, but you do have the bolly beds, you have the loungers in the front and in the back, and then some sunken chairs as well. So if you're debating whether to go preferred for pool purposes, in some resorts it's a no-brainer, like the preferred pool is better, but these are very similar, so I don't know if it'd be worth it. This pool was not very crowded. I think the preferred pool was actually more crowded, so I don't think it's worth it based solely on pools alone. And then here's a look at the third pool. This is the pool that runs down the middle of the resort with rooms on either side of it. We are currently walking away from the beach and towards the main part of the resort. This pool was a very good size. This was the least used pool while we were there anyway. It was always very calm and never very busy at all. They have the loungers, they have the chairs that are sunken in the water there. They also have the swim up bar and this side of the bar here where you can sit if you don't want to be in the pool. Another thing to note about the swim ups is the location in relation to the bars and the pool. Ours was very far. It was up in this left-hand corner all the way down, so we didn't actually get service while we were swimming or anything like that. Maybe a couple people came by, but since we were so far from the bar, it just wasn't a thing. Whereas if you were in a swim up like one of these that is really close, you would definitely get more service. You would be more in the mix. Depends on your vibe, what you're into. This side also seemed to stay more sunny throughout the day, whereas the side over here stayed more shady. So it just depends on what you like and what your preference is, but it's something to note when booking or requesting what room you want. And now I'll just take you guys on a little walking tour. And again, that structure ahead is the epicenter. That's the welcome area. That's where that one night bar is that I showed you guys earlier. Up above on these steps are little spots to sit at night. They had bonfires. They had little different types of chairs. Just made for a nice spot to kind of hang out. And then as we turn this corner, now you'll be walking towards the restaurants. Up here you also had the fitness center and the spa. Okay, if you're like me and you're always wondering, is it worth it to get preferred or should I not get preferred? I'm going to give you one strong reason to go preferred. So heading back down to the pool area, passing the preferred lunch restaurant is the non-preferred lunch option. This is the only option down by the beach, by the pool. So unless you walked all the way up to the other end of the resort, this was really your only option for lunch food. And in my opinion, the biggest miss of this resort. As you guys can see, it's basically just fried food in this disgusting warming area that had fingerprints and crumbs and everything. It just grossed me out, and the food was terrible. And I'm sorry, maybe they've changed this. Maybe this was temporary because it was new, but this was terrible. The other thing that was odd was they didn't have an option to get anything delivered to your spot at the pool, which is pretty typical from all the other resorts I've been to. So you had to serve yourself. You could walk this back to your seat, but again, like, you had to get up, you had to concoct this disgusting hot dog, and yeah, the nachos were the best part, which that says a lot. But yeah, I just think this lunch option was really unfortunate, and again, that is my biggest qualm with this resort, was the lunch situation. So this is leaving that area, walking past the preferred lunch area here on the left, and then a quick look at the beach on the right. This resort had a great beach setup. If you're someone who enjoyed sitting on the beach in the sand, this was a great resort for that. They had a large area that I'll show you guys here in a bit. And then this is the main pool bar, which you can sit outside of if you're not in the pool and enjoy. Great views of the ocean, great view of the pool. Also served as a great place to eat lunch. Okay, I will say about lunch, sorry, I should mention this. There was an option to eat lunch at where the breakfast is served, so it kind of turns into a lunch and evening buffet after breakfast. However, if you've watched my other videos, I'm not someone who wants to leave the pool to go get lunch somewhere, and maybe that sounds crazy, but you also have to think about you're going to be soaking wet, the restaurant's going to be air conditioned, and as I mentioned, it's on the other side of the resort, so you have to go all the way over there. It just takes time away from your day at the pool, and I just don't like that. And I've mentioned this before, but all these resorts are so similar, so it's the little things that distinguish them from one another. All right, so let's do a little beach tour. So as you guys can see, this is a beautiful beach. It is huge. This is just the right side, and the left side was almost identical. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be preferred. I didn't see any signage or anything that indicated that it was different. It was pretty identical to the right side. So I'm not sure if they're supposed to be separated or not. But as you guys can see, tons of different types of seating. So you have the Bali beds, you have just the regular loungers, you had just Adirondack chairs. I love the more authentic feel of the palapas. I just think this beach checked all the boxes. This is a beautiful beach. The water was perfect. The beach was very walkable, so if you're a morning walker or an evening walker, this was perfect for sunsets. But yeah, I think they did a great job with the design of this beach. One of my favorites I've ever been to, so definitely a plus on that. Negative on this is the service out here was terrible. We would rarely get served drinks while we sat at the beach, which is unfortunate. But again, maybe that's part of the growing pains of being at a newer resort. They're still figuring it out. They're understaffed. I'm not sure, but just a fair warning that if you sit out at the beach, you might be getting your own drinks at the bar like we did. All right, so this is back up at more of the main area, kind of where you arrive to the left there. And then as you walk out, there is a bar here, which becomes kind of like the main hub at night. Lots of different spots to sit and gather and kind of hang out. As you guys see, I think they did a good job of having different sitting areas for people. So the bar area is kind of like the epicenter, and then around the outside and kind of a square is most of the restaurants. As you see, we're walking towards the Italian restaurant right now. I love the tree going through the roof. I think this resort has great architecture design, modern and light and airy. To the left there, you see the coffee shop, Coco Cafe. Beyond that was the entertainment area, so it was kind of like a stage and with a bar set behind it. Here's the coffee shop, super cute with the water surrounding the whole thing. And they also had some really good sandwiches and pastries that you could get throughout the day. And then beyond that, you see that second bar and entertainment area back there. Here is a view from inside the entertainment area. We'll turn back towards the coffee shop here. But yeah, every night they had some kind of show, which is always nice. If you've been to a resort, you know that after dinner, things can get a little boring. So to have something to do is always a plus. Here's a sports bar they had. They had games on the TV. They had pool tables. They did karaoke one night. They usually had a live band in here. But this is about the extent of the nightlife. So no raves, no parties or anything like that. Okay, let's get into the restaurants and the food. This restaurant was the South American Fusion restaurant, and this was by far my favorite for the ambiance and decor. I think this is beautiful. Everything was green, woodsy, and this is my favorite part. The middle was like an open air atrium with a tree growing in the middle. I just thought that was really cool. This restaurant wasn't my favorite for the food. Everything was fine. It just wasn't my preference, I guess. But the ambiance was on point. Okay, so this is the Market Cafe. This is where they do the breakfast buffet, and then they also switch it over to lunch and dinner buffet. As you can see, they had this Bloody Mary and mimosa bar right when you walked in, which is nice. I love the decor of this place. I think they did a great job with the aesthetic. I also like that they had an outdoor seating area. Maybe it's just me. I just prefer to sit outside, especially when I'm on vacation. I think it's because I'm from Minnesota, so being in the warmth is always welcome. And then here we are entering into the buffet area. As you can see, this is a very large space, so it's really nice so you can move around, check out the options without being on top of everybody. I also loved how clean and bright it was. Another pro of going to a new resort. They had a lot of made-to-order stations, which is always really nice. So it's not just food that's been sitting there. It's always fresh. They even had, as you see, the mini donut station, which is awesome. I've never seen that. They had omelets. They had meat carving. Really anything you could want for breakfast, they had here. A very wide range of food, which is always good. Everything in here felt really fresh too. Like the food didn't feel gross. It felt very recently prepared, which obviously is important when it's a buffet style. I even appreciated the way things were presented and served. Sometimes when you go to different resorts, they have different methods of how they present the food, and some is more appealing than others. I felt this one was pretty appealing, like everything was plated or in a certain style of dish. It wasn't like in warmers or in chafers or covered by plastic. It was just presented well, I feel like. If you're a bagel person like me, you'll love this section. They had all these different types of fish and different flavors of cream cheeses, avocados, all the toppings you could ever want for your bagel. Loved this area. And then here's another look at how big this space truly is. It's definitely one of the biggest breakfast buffets I've been to at a resort, so very nice. And then over here they had hot chocolate, dried fruits, and a station for oatmeal. And then you also had all your pastries and breads and everything over here. And the list goes on. Here we have fresh fruits. They had a yogurt station here with all different types of yogurts. They had a cereal station if you like dry cereal. And then one of my favorite stops is the fresh juices. They also had a great selection of that. So yeah, you guys, this buffet was like top tier. I don't know what else you could want from a buffet. So definitely getting 10 out of 10 stars on that. And then this was the Mexican restaurant. This was at the very end of the night. That's why it's completely dead. We had already had dinner a few hours beforehand, but I like to try every restaurant, at least go and get something. So I think this was the cheese empanada. It was fantastic. This was, I think, a steak taco of some sort. This was the Asian fusion restaurant. And as you guys can see, they have a hibachi. I think they had 2 hibachi tables back there. The sushi was really good. Really enjoyed this restaurant for sure. I think the pad thai was our least favorite, but the sushi was fantastic. And if you go, make sure you get the dessert. We went back one night just to get the dessert. It was that good. This is Seaside. This is like the steakhouse. That's the only restaurant that's down by the beach, kind of tucked behind the pool. One of my favorite things about this whole resort is how they incorporate a lot of open air concept into the design of the restaurants and to the resort itself. I love that about this place. Both of these steaks are really good, especially considering it's resort food, mass produced, so I think they did a great job. This is my favorite restaurant, I think, because I still think about this pasta to today. This is the Italian restaurant. One of my favorite things is just the attention to detail. Like, these little things that they do, I think, stand out and what make a resort go from good to great. Like, they could have just served that soup in the bowl, but instead they poured it. You know, it's just little things like that. This risotto was top tier, but this pasta, I'm telling you guys, if you go, make sure you save time to go to the Italian restaurant once, if not twice. And of course, you're at an all-inclusive, so you might as well order room service every chance you get. The food was okay. I don't think room service food is ever fantastic, but it was better than what was offered at the beach, so I guess I'll take it. And then here's a look at the workout center, which I did not use, I'm not gonna lie, but hey, I wanted to give you guys a good look at it in case you are someone who likes to work out. This thing was huge, so there's a pro for that. Tons of space, tons of machines. This is just the downstairs, and then I'm gonna head upstairs here in a second. But yeah, everything, again, brand new, very clean, very nice design, and huge. Another thing we loved was the yoga instructor that led classes throughout the week. I'm not sure if this is a permanent thing. It sounded like she was just visiting for a couple weeks, but hopefully they keep it because it was really cool to have yoga down by the beach. One last thing I want to mention before I forget, but if you are a pickleballer, they do have pickleball courts here. So that was a fun surprise I saw when I got here. I don't know if I could have played in the heat, but if you're a pickleballer and you want to play, make sure you throw your paddles in. Otherwise, yeah, that's Secrets Tides, guys. I hope you guys got a good glimpse of it, a good feel for it. If you've been, let me know what you thought. If you guys have questions, throw them in the comments. Like, follow, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.